at IIPM International. So in case you have any network issue of which you may have to leave the class, please visit the YouTube and get all the information. You can follow the class from there. If you follow the class on YouTube, please ensure to okay, so if you're using the YouTube channel, please ensure you send us requests via the via WhatsApp number for your attendance. Okay, so we are going to be looking at safety analysis. This particular material has not been sent out. So for those of us that have paid for materials, you will get this as part of the materials you will be receiving for this class. So it's on job hazard analysis, but in this case, we are now looking at job hazard analysis as a safety analysis tool. So after this class, you'll get to have the material. Okay. So we are going to look at job hazard analysis from the OSHA perspective. Can you see my screen, please? If you can see my screen, can you type 22 in the chat room? If you can see my screen, can you type 22 in the chat room? Okay. Now, if you can hear me loud and clear, just help me type 11 in the chat room. If you can hear me loud and clear. If you can hear me loud and clear, just type 11 in the chat room. All right, thank you so much. Thank you for hearing me. Okay, so we have approximately, is it 2 hours or 3 hours for this class? We have 9 to 12, right? Okay, so let's see what we'll do. We're going to do something. We're going to take time to break down what job hazard analysis is all about. Then we look at some of the tools, or let's say some templates of job hazard analysis. Then we can get to customize that to our own organizations, right? We can get to customize it to what we do on site. We can get to customize it to what we do in the office. We can get to customize it to what we do at home, right? So that's all we want to do. Job hazard analysis from the OSHA perspective. Please, this particular course is called OSHA 3071. 3071, that's the course. So after this class, you're going to have the entire manual to it. So please, to ensure that you can see my screen very well, please ensure you put, if you're using a phone or tablet, please ensure you put it on landscape. If you're using a system, then you don't need to bother about. Okay, if you're using a phone or a tablet, please ensure to put it on landscape so that you can see the screen very well. If you are using a system or a desktop, you don't need to bother about. So in this booklet, we are going to majorly cover about what is hazard, what is job hazard analysis, why is job hazard analysis important, what is the value of a job hazard analysis, what jobs are appropriate for a job hazard analysis, where do we begin, how do I identify workplace hazards, how do I correct or prevent any hazards, what else do I need to know before starting a job hazard analysis, why should I review my job hazard analysis, when is it appropriate to hire a professional to conduct a job hazard analysis. Now that's where we are going to stop, right? So if your company needs much other information, then you can read out the other ones on your own special time, like OSHA assistance, services and programs. You can get to find out how OSHA can be a great help to your organization, and then all the strategic programs that they also run, of which I will encourage everyone to get to become a partner of OSHA. All right. Okay, so let's begin from here. According to OSHA, what is hazard? A hazard is the potential for harm A hazard is the potential for harm. Remember, we had a definition from ISO that said a hazard is anything or any event that has the capacity to cause harm, if not control. That was the first definition we had from the ISO perspective. Now, from the OSHA perspective, I say is a hazard is the potential for harm. So anything that has the potential to cause harm. So in practical terms, a hazard is often associated with a condition activity that if left uncontrolled can result in an injury or illness. So we'll look at appendix 2, or when you get the material, you get to appendix 2, you get to have all the common hazards and their description. Then identifying hazards and eliminating or controlling them as early as possible will help prevent injuries or illnesses. So this is actually the whole essence of safety: to eliminate accidents, to eliminate illnesses, to eliminate harms, and to eliminate whatsoever that will bring injury to people, whatever that will bring harm to the environment, whatever that will bring damage to assets and to reputation. So if you go back to the elements we considered earlier, where the consequences of safety will have to come upon, we have people, we have environment, we have assets, and we have reputation, right? So all of these could have their own hazards towards them, all right? Okay, so what then is job hazard analysis? Now, before I proceed to the next slide I have here, in the last class, we looked at what job hazard analysis was, right? So I have 28 persons in the class. Out of the 28 persons, I think I have 3 devices connected. So that means we'll have 25 persons in the class. So in 25 persons, I have my coordinator. So we'll have 24 persons in the class. And maybe out of the 24, we'll have people with multiple devices. So we'll probably have 20 people in the class. All right, so from the 20 people, can someone please help us? What is job hazard analysis from the definition we had last week? What is job hazard analysis? What is job hazard analysis? Please kindly raise your hand and let's take it up from there. All right, please, can we unmute Diho, female? Hello, sir, can we unmute Diho, female? All right.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Fimo, you can mute yourself. You have been unmuted.
Yeah, okay, I've done it. Do you get me?
Good morning, Diho.
I can hear you.
Okay. Good morning, Mr.
Good morning, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay. The question is from the definition we got from hazard. You said that an hazard is anything with the potential to cause harm, to cause injury, or to cause sickness. Good. From that, and the job hazard analysis, what you can also call job safety analysis, is let's say a process coming from how to be. When we have some activity, let me take an example to be clear. We have an activity to do, and we try to break this activity step by step and see the potential hazard which may come from that activity, and see how best we can bring some preventive measures to, let's say, minimize accident at work. This is what I can say.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Okay, so let's have Director Mike Adeyemi. His hand is up.
Mr. Mike, you are muted. Good morning. Please unmute yourself.
Okay. Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Director.
Yes, sir. Job hazard analysis, to my own understanding, is just like a technique that focuses on job tasks as a way of identifying hazard before they occur. And it also is a relationship between the worker. It links the workers, the tasks, the tools that they are using, and the work environment. That's what I can understand by job hazard analysis.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. That was also brilliant. Okay, so let's get to what we have here. So a job hazard analysis is a technique that focuses on job tasks as a way to identify hazards before they occur. It focuses on the relationship between the worker, the task, the tools, and the work environment. Ideally, after you identify uncontrolled hazards, you will take steps to eliminate or reduce them to an acceptable risk level. So job hazard analysis is focusing on job tasks as a way of identifying the hazard. So if we go back to what Mr. Diho said, what it simply means is that job hazard analysis, first of all, will identify the job that needs to be done, and then breaks that job down into tasks, and then we'll go forward to identify the hazards in each of those tasks, and then go forward to put up controls to them. But there is something important here that was added by Director Mike Adem. He said it is used to identify hazards before they occur. It's used to put control to hazards before they occur. So that's to say that job hazard analysis is a proactive safety technique. It's a proactive safety tool needed for prevention of hazards. So it's more of on the prevention side, not on the investigation side. Did you get what I just said now? I said JHA is more on prevention rather than corrections. So it does more of proactive, it takes a proactive approach to safety management rather than a reactive approach. I trust we understand that. Okay, so let's proceed. So why is job hazard analysis important? Why is job hazard analysis important? Before I go to this, we have been able to identify that, okay, job hazard analysis, one, it helps you to identify hazards at task levels. So it is easier to identify hazards with job hazard analysis, right? And then two, it helps us to identify hazards before they occur, all right? So it makes us more proactive. Now, I'm going to ask, what do you think will be the benefits or will be the importance of job hazard analysis? I would also like to have a voice. I would prefer voice. 1, 2, 3 persons. Just tell us why you think job hazard. Please note, we are looking at safety analysis, right? And we are using the basic tool of job hazard analysis as the basic safety tool. If you understand job hazard analysis, then you can use any other safety analytical tool or safety analysis tools. Okay. Okay. So can someone just by a raise of hand tell us what you think will be the importance of JHA to workplace? Okay. Please, just by raise of hand. Okay, so I have one person there, just 3 persons. 3 persons, just enough. Can we please unmute Director Mike? Let's hear from him.
From the good afternoon once again.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
From the definition, the importance of job hazard analysis is that it makes us more proactive before anything occur. I believe you are there to avoid the problem at once. That's my own.
Okay, thank you so much. Please, let's hear from Diho once again.
Okay, thank you again. According to our definition, let's say that for a company, any company aim is to make profit. And if I want to make profit, it means that I have to reduce what? My cost. I have to reduce my expenses. And after doing the job safety analysis, it will allow the company to get some preventive measures in order to minimize or eliminate totally work accidents. So by eliminating or minimizing work accidents, it will reduce my expenses as a company and increase my profit. So it's very, very important. And also, as my colleague said, it will also help the company to be more productive. Because if most of your workers are in the house, they are not working, and you are paying them, you are losing. And it will also reduce your productivity. This is what I wanted to say.
Okay, so thank you so much for that. That's also, so it helps us get to be proactive. It helps us reduce costs, all right, and increase productivity. Thank you so much. All right, so I have more hands up. Please, sir, can you go ahead and unmute them? Richard Asante, the richest man in Ghana.
Good morning.
Yes, please. You're welcome, sir.
Yeah, the DHA, one of the important is that it helps to identify the hazard in particular job and taking the control measure to eliminate it. And also, it helps to identify the kind of PPE we can use. The worker can use it when they are perform the task. And also, the workers is aware of the hazard involved the particular task they are doing. So this is a little bit I can say about it.
Okay, so it helps us to identify the right kind of PPE to use in the workplace. Yes. That's awesome. Okay, can we take the final person right now? That's Jamiu Akimade.
Please, Mr. Jamiu, please unmute yourself. You have been unmuted from here. Hello, Mr. Jamiu. Hello, Mr. Jamiu. Oh. Hello, Mr. Jamiu. Hello.
His mic is on, but he's like his network is not stable.
All right. Okay. Let's continue, Dr. Benito. Then maybe after the network is good, it can come up.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Hello, Dr. Benito.
Okay, hello? Sorry, I muted the other device. Okay, so I'm actually on the internet trying to get some information, and it will help us. If you can see my what they call it, my screen on Premium Times newspaper, please can you help me confirm by typing 11 in the chat room? If you can see my screen on Premium Time newspaper, can you help me type 11? All right. So let's take a look at what Premium Times is saying. This is from Nigerian perspective. I'm also going to show that of Ghana, so that we can all have a better look at all of this and why we need to start paying attention to workplace. Okay, why we need to start paying attention to workplace. So look at what we have here. It said the federal government says 2.78 million workers die from occupational accidents and work-related diseases annually, while additional 374 million suffer from non-fatal occupational accidents globally each year. Just imagine that result. The federal government, that's Nigerian government, says 2.78 million workers die from occupational accidents and work-related diseases annually, while additional 374 million suffer from non-fatal occupational accident globally each year. Just imagine that 374 million people die plus 2.78 million people die. Just imagine the impact on human population. Now, why these figures may look like it doesn't concern me, but the truth is that these 374 million people, we are staying with them. We have 1, 2, 3 persons that are part of these statistics, and we have people that are not even part of these statistics. 2.78 million people, we are all seeing these people. Okay, let me even ask. Recently, in Nigeria, a case was reported of a particular governor that was attacked, and over 21 soldiers and policemen were killed. How many of us heard of that news? If you heard of the news, type 22 in the chat room. If you heard of the news, type 22 in the chat room. Okay. Thank you for hearing that news. Okay. Now, do you know that those 21 persons that are dead right now, they are part, they will, the list when updated next time, they will be part of these 2.78 million. Okay. From Mr. Jamil, say good morning. The JHA can also be used to investigate accidents and train. This is my contribution. Okay, please. JHA is actually more for proactive purposes. JHA in this case is not unsafe at.
Hello? Hello, Dr. Benito. Hello?
Accident investigation reporting, right? So JHA is more of proactive investigation aspect of it. All right, we'll still call. Can you hear me?
Hello? Your mic was, your audio went off, but is now back. Hello, Dr. Benito. Hello, Dr. Benito. Hello, Dr. Benito. Hello. Hello. Can someone hear me, please? Okay. If you can hear me, please just type 11. It's all right. Meaning the network has logged our facilitator, Dr. Benito, out. He will join us soon. Please, let's just be patient. He will join us very, very soon.
All right, so sorry, I had a call that disrupted my network. So sorry, but I've swapped the device now. So sorry about that. Just a moment, I'm going to get my screen back on. So we are looking at all of these accident cases, job-related issues, and all of that. Like I said, somebody may feel like it doesn't concern me, but it is actually happening to people around us. It is happening in our workplace. It is happening in our homes. It is happening to people we know. So this tells us that we then need to pay attention to ensuring that job hazard analysis is well done. Now, I was reading on news yesterday, and I think the security advisor to that particular governor that was harassed said that there was a security intelligence report that was sent to the governor that the road he wanted to follow was not good, but the governor decided to go anyway. If if they have been able to identify that, okay, this road is not, if they were actually paying attention to safety and say, okay, this road is not safe at this moment, and if the journey must be a must-do journey, there would have been alternatives to dealing with the situation, or there would have been another route, or there would have been another way around it. So 21 people and more had to lose their life because a safety instruction was given and it was not followed. Maybe because someone felt he was the governor and he had the right and nobody can stand against him and all of that. So irrespective of who we are in the workplace, safety rules does not respect anybody. I will repeat this again. Irrespective of who you are in the workplace, safety rules does not respect anybody. Okay, let me ask those of us in Nigeria. I'm actually asking in Nigeria because I'm somehow more conversant with Nigerian news. How many of us heard of who is that? Is he head of chief of staff, Nigerian chief of staff that died from COVID-19? If you ever heard of that news, can you type 11 in the chat room? Or if you know the person, just type the person's name in the chat room. You heard of the news of the chief of staff. I'm talking of the whole chief of staff. Okay, the whole chief of staff died of COVID-19. And there were other senators that died alongside too. There were other presidents of the world that contracted the same disease. There were prime ministers of the world that contracted the disease. So irrespective of your office, safety does not respect office. Or will I say occupational illnesses does not respect office. Every office has its own unique illnesses that come alongside with them, unique diseases that come alongside with them. Okay, so it's important that we pay attention to safety issues. Don't ever say it doesn't concern me. I don't know. Don't say it's not towards my workplace. No. Okay, let me ask again. Those of us in Nigeria now, maybe those of us in Ghana, you can tell us a little of what is happening in Ghana in your own case. You can use the chat room to tell us similar situations where occupational safety has affected both the high and the mighty. Okay, the high and mighty and the low and not mighty. Okay, you can tell us in the chat room. Okay, how many of us in Nigeria and perhaps from the foreign environment heard of the news of that school that collapsed in Lekki? Was it Lekki or VI, or let's say Island? Collapsed in Island that killed both students and staff. If you ever heard of that news, I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago. If you heard of that news, type 11 in the chat room. Type 11 in the chat room. Okay, so Tolulokwe, head of the news. Head of the news. It was awesome. Wow. Okay, so every day we keep hearing occupational health issues, occupational safety issues. The other day I was listening to news, it was tanker, oil gas tank that exploded. The same, about 2 weeks ago, I think it was in Lagos, a gas plant exploded, removed everybody from that village, a gas plant. And these are things that could have been controlled by what? By simple job hazard analysis. Job hazard analysis. All the whole building collapse, all the whole tanker explosions. There is one spot I know in a particular state. There is one spot I know. During rainy season, virtually every week, there must be, is either a tanker is falling down by that junction or a tanker is catching fire at that junction. And that keeps happening. Since I know that state, it keeps happening every rainy season. And some people say it's witch. There is no witch about it. There is no wizard or witch about it. It is lack of safety understanding. So what has government done, or what has will I say the people of the community, what have they done to ensure that they reduce the frequency of such occurrences. A particular year, was it last year or 2 years ago, I was passing through that state and I saw a whole, like about 2 kilometers, a tanker fell down, caught fire, and about 2 kilometers, it burnt off everything on that side. The houses, the shops, the businesses, the trees, everything, it burnt everything down. So now who is going to take care of such accidents? Is it the tanker owner? Is it the company? Or sorry, is it the tanker driver? Is it the company owners? Or is it the government? Who is going to take charge? These things keep repeating every year. We are just adding them to record as part of occupational health issues. But these things could have been corrected with simple safety analysis. These things could be corrected with simple what? Safety analysis. Is it to talk about people that get kidney issues every year? You know, they increase in number. Those people that have kidneys, liver cirrhosis, kidney stones, they increase in number yearly. Have you wondered what causes cancer? Some of us think it's only, will I say, biological defects that cause cancer. No. Some of these things will cause cancer, bone cancer, skin cancer. They are results of chronic effects. You remember when Dr. David was introducing safety, he talked about two kinds of safety effect. Well, talked about the acute effect and talked about the chronic effects, right? Some of these things are chronic effects. Now, let me even ask you, where you are working now, how do you see your health after you retire? All the hazards associated in your workplace, how do you see yourself when you retire? When your body is no longer as active as it were to be to fight against those foreign bodies coming in, where do you see your health? So these are some of the things we begin to look at and then begin to pay paramount attention to conducting job safety analysis, job hazard analysis. Okay, so let's come close and hear all of these things. Do you know, most of this could be a digression, but it's actually a reality. Most of the homes that are scattering today, if only they did the job hazard analysis in their homes, they would scatter. And I'm going to give you an instance. I was reading on newspaper, was it 2 days ago, a woman that killed the son because the son broke her memory card and took her 1,000 naira. She killed the son. If she had done job hazard analysis, she would have known that, okay, maybe one of the hazards I have could be terrible anger. And she could have put some controls. She could have identified some triggers that would result to such and put some controls to it. Would that have been preventable? The answer is yes. So we can actually do job hazard analysis in our homes. Is it to talk about couples that fight every day? And you could be wondering what they are fighting for. I know of this group of people, their own is very unique. Every day they are fighting for funny things. Today, the fight is because the toothpaste was not pressed properly. Tomorrow, the toilet seat was closed instead of being open. Next tomorrow, the broom was kept outside instead of inside. These are, you should know that, okay, there are certain triggers to certain emotions that cause unsafe conditions for me. So if we pay attention to job hazard analysis, pay attention to home management analysis, we'll be reducing a whole lot of accidents. We'll be reducing a whole lot of injuries. Now, if you agree with me on these things I'm saying, can you help me type 1 in the chat room? Let me get back to my class. I saw something regarding to Ghana here, and it's impressive. Now, this was a research work, an extract of a research work that was carried out in Ghana. Okay. So household interviews were used to survey 21,105 persons living in 431 urban and rural sites in Ghana to determine the nature and extent of the occupational injuries. Annual occupational injury rates were 11.5% injuries per 1,000 persons. Now, if you calculate it, you know what it will give you. That means for 10% is 100. So for every 1,000, we have 100 injuries. They add 1.5% to it. Do you get where we are going to? So by the time you use a ratio of, let's assume 10 to 100, they calculate 10% of the total population. That will tell you the rate of injuries, occupational injuries present in the country. Okay, it said the rate was 11.5% injuries per 1,000 persons in the urban areas and 44.9 per 1,000 in the rural areas. Occupational injuries had higher, listen to this, had higher mortality, longer disability, and higher treatment costs than non-occupational injuries. Did you see that? Occupational injuries had higher mortality, longer disability, and higher treatment costs than non-occupational injuries. There were substantial occupational injury rates among children, especially in rural areas. In the urban areas, the largest numbers of injuries were to drivers, 12.7% of urban occupational injuries, and traders, 19.4%, most of which were road traffic related. In the rural areas, most injuries, 71.6%, were to farm workers. Occupational injuries are a substantial burden in Ghana. Priorities include improving road safety and improving the prevention and treatment of injuries from non-mechanized farming. So you see that this occupational safety we are talking about is not specific to any country. Every country, every home, every individual has their own. So it therefore means that we need to pay critical attention to conducting job hazard analysis. Now, I want to give you a simple advice, a very simple advice. For those of us that are married, you want to preserve your home, go and do, from today, from now, go and do job hazard analysis in your home. Tell yourself, do emotional intelligence analysis. That's your own job hazard. Do emotional intelligence analysis. Find your negative emotions within the house. Find the triggers and then begin to put up controls to them. Wait, is there any day now, all across the globe, is there any day that you don't see a newspaper, either wife killing husband or husband killing wife? Is there any day we don't get such on newspapers? Is there any day we don't get to have children killing fathers, fathers killing children on newspapers? These things can be managed. These things can be managed. These things are preventable. Health, safety, and environment believe that all injuries, all accidents, all harms are preventable. But how do we need to prevent them? By first of all having a good understanding of what these things are, and then being able to identify what causes them around us, and then being able to put up some self-regulatory or put up some controls that will help us get over with them. All right, so this is very, very important. So in case you've never done a job hazard analysis before, start from your house. After your house, then why will you stay in your house and you're not having peace? Huh? Why will you stay in your home? You just wake up, dress up, go out, come back, dress up, come back, take your bath, sleep. Some of us don't even eat the food of our wife. You don't collect money from your husband, and you say you're married. That is not marriage. That is cohabitation, and it's a negative one. One day it will burst. So it's better we start dealing with it. Okay, it's better we start dealing with it. All right. Some of us don't even care about where our children go. We don't care about who their network of friends are. That is very terrible. And at the end of the day, they bring the consequences of their interaction outside to your house. So they will be fighting themselves, not like cat and dog, but like Iraq and Iran. They fight with all weapons available. That is dangerous. So we need to go back, start this job hazard analysis from our houses first, then we can proceed to occupational levels. Did you get what I just said now? We need to start. He said charity begins at home. Don't go starting from us. Start from home. Start from yourself. Begin to do analysis on yourself. Then from there, you can now move on to major matters. Okay. Please, if you're following me, can you type 22 in the chat room? If you're following me, please type 22 in the chat room. If you're following me, please type 22 in the chat room. If you're following me, type 22 in the chat room. All right. Okay, so if somebody is going to do a personal JHA on himself, on his family today, you're going to take it as a risk. Whether you have a perfect home or not, you're going to do it. In fact, it's an assignment you must do and submit to yourself. Keep it in your file, keep it in your record, be updating it every now and then so that you have a very good plan to work with. Now, if there is somebody in this class who is going to do a JHA on his family life today, type 10 in the chat room. Let me see. Type 10. You're going to do a JHA starting from your family first. Here is a charity begins at home. So Director Mike will do his own today. Anemene will do his own today. Diho will do his own today. Emodi will do her own today. So let's go ahead and start from there. If you are having issues with your spouse, fix it today. Fix. Do you know that most of the job? No. This might look as though is not true, but I'm telling you the honest fact now. I have not looked up any research to make a correlation, so this is a disclaimer. But do you know that most of the accidents that happen in the workplace, they actually generated from the home? The emotions that cause those accidents in the workplace, they are generated from the home. How many of us will agree to that? That most of the occupational injuries we have, they were actually caused by negative emotions that are generated from the house. If you will make some correlations alongside with me or agree with me on this fact, please type yes in the chat room that some of the injuries caused in the workplace are a product of the negative emotions that were generated from the home and they are now transferred to the workplace. If you can agree with me on that, just type yes. So you see, that means we must find the root cause of where these occupational health are really coming from. Okay, we must find the root cause of where they are coming from. So if we find it and it's from our home, we then deal with it. We deal with it. Okay, we deal with it and have a better time at work. I don't know about anybody, but I know me personally. If I am not happy with my wife, I can't work in the office. I won't concentrate. My whole body will be burning till we make things right. That is for me. Now imagine how that will affect my work. I will just be moody the whole day. Okay, so somebody say yes, absolutely. It happens to my colleague and that cost him his job. All right. So we have to therefore pay attention. If I have issues at home, my work that day is somehow okay. So if we have a transference or we have a root cause of occupational issues, occupational health issues, then we need to pay attention to where it's coming from. Okay, we need to pay attention to where it is coming from. Okay, we need to pay attention to where it's coming from. All right. So let's take the time and do all of that job hazard analysis at home. Then we proceed to our own workplaces. Why is job hazard analysis important? Many workers are injured and killed at the workplace every day in the United States, in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Uganda, in Rwanda, in Botswana, in Canada, every day. Safety and health can add value to your business, your job, and your life. You can help prevent workplace injuries and illnesses by looking at your workplace operations, establishing proper job procedures, and ensuring that all employees are trained properly. One of the best ways to determine and establish proper work procedures is to conduct a job hazard analysis. A job hazard analysis is one component of the larger commitment of a safety and health management system. So later on today, Dr. David will be talking about the effective HSE system. So what is the value of job hazard analysis? Supervisors can use the findings of job hazard analysis to eliminate and prevent hazards in their workplaces. So if you look at the statement, it's all boiling down to proactivity, to eliminate, to prevent it. Okay, this is likely to result in fewer worker injuries and illnesses, safer, more effective work methods, reduce workers' compensation costs, and increase worker productivity. The analysis also can also be a valuable tool for training new employees in the steps required to perform their job safely. For a job hazard analysis to be effective, management must demonstrate its commitment to safety and health and follow through to correct any uncontrolled hazards identified. Otherwise, management will lose credibility and employees may hesitate to go to management when dangerous conditions threaten them. As a matter of fact, it's important for organizations to have insurance scheme for their staff. It's important for an organization to have insurance scheme for their staff, not just health scheme, but a life assurance schemes. And I'm going to tell you why. Recently, one of my cousins that work with one of these companies, one of these multinational companies, they produce aluminum. And I was at his place, and that was it February or so, in Lagos, and he was telling me that he was no longer working. And he had been in this company for 15 years or more. And they just sacked him. I was like, what? What really happened? So he now started narrating the whole ordeal. He finished with his production. He happens to be an operations manager. He finished with his operations, turned off his machine, and went off the facility or went off the place where the operations was taking place. Now, someone went into his production room and turned on the machine. While he was turning on the machine, he didn't know that somebody else was alongside the lines of the machine. So that was how the machine sliced off the person's fingers. If I said finger is too small, the hand was actually cut off. Hey, that was mechanical amputation. The company sacked him. Why? Because one, they said he's supposed to be the one in charge of the production area. Should people enter or come out, it should be his responsibility. Now, he said the company at the end of the day paid about 15 million naira damage to the person. That his hand was cut. And at the end of the day, he was sacked and nothing was paid to him because they now believe that the money that was supposed to be paid to him had been used to sort out the person's issues. I was like, this is not too fair anyway. That is an occupational accident. There should be someone to be sanctioned, that's right. But if there were insurance scheme to cover their health, there wouldn't have been need to use someone's pension and gratuity to now settle the accident that he didn't know where it happened. Just because he was the supervisor in charge and was not aware of what was happening in his department, that claimed his job, that claimed his benefits and all of that. So it's important for organizations to pay attention to insurance. So many organizations run away from insurance schemes. I don't know why. Okay, we all run away from insurance scheme. Even those of us that do the insurance, we are not effective with the insurance programs, and that is not too good. So we need to pay attention to insurance scheme. So what jobs are appropriate for a job hazard analysis? A job hazard analysis can be conducted on many jobs in your workplace. Priority should go to the following jobs. Now look at these conditions for using JHA. Jobs with the highest injury or illness rates should first of all have a JHA before they are conducted. Jobs with the potential to cause severe or disabling injuries or illnesses, even if there is no history of previous accidents, those jobs need to have a JHA. Example of such jobs in Nigeria: locating refinery plant in residential areas. That, in fact, you need to do job hazard analysis over and over again to be sure to mitigate the any day occurrence of an explosion. Now, these things get me so worried sometimes. You'll be passing through the city. You will see filling stations aligned left, right, and center. You will see offices on top of the filling station. You will see schools around the filling station. What? You will see medical centers around the filling station. This is very good. Now, one day you just hear explosion, boom, the whole city will come down. You know, I love Abuja for a reason. I don't really have intention of going to any other part of Nigeria. I love Abuja for a reason. I love Abuja because Abuja is well structured. You don't just keep moving on and you just see filling station anywhere. No, everything is located at a point. Okay, and that keeps the city a little safe from occupational accidents, from incidences that could have been managed. Okay, and in Abuja, you could barely see two filling stations at the same time. Let's say you see Owando, then you see Total, then you see Mobil. No. It doesn't happen like that. But in some places in this, our country, Nigeria, you could see a place where you see Mobil, opposite it is Total, adjacent it is Owando, the other place is Konoil, the other side. So if there is any day there is a bomb explosion, you're sure that you've created automatic rapture for anybody around that place. Any day there is fire explosion, you've done man-made rapture. So we need to pay attention to jobs with the potential to cause severe or disabling injuries or illness, even if there is no history of previous accident. Then jobs in which one simple human error could lead to severe accident or injury. Jobs that are new to your operation or have undergone changes in processes and procedures, and jobs complex enough to require written instructions. All of these should follow job safety instructions. So where do I begin? Number one, involve your employees. For the fact that they are the ones that have the primary contact with these hazards, you need to involve them so that you could they could give you feedback as to how the hazards behave and all of that, and possible injuries that may come up from the hazards. Then the second one is to review your accident history. Okay, that will help you to find out which of the job areas have more tendencies to hazardous events. Then the next one there is to conduct a preliminary job review to find out if hazards ever exist in the task or in the job. All right. Then you now go to having to list, rank, and then set priorities for the hazardous jobs. Okay. You list, you rank, and you set priorities for the hazardous job. Then you outline the steps or the tasks that need to be done. Then after you might have done that, in part of the steps, remember you have to put up your control. All right. So how do I identify workplace hazards? How do I identify workplace hazard? A job hazard analysis is an exercise in dictative work. Your goal is to discover the following: what can go wrong? What are the consequences? How could it arise? What are other contributing factors? How likely is it that the hazard will occur? To make your job hazard analysis useful, document the answers to these questions in a consistent manner. Describing a hazard in this way helps to ensure that your efforts to eliminate the hazard and implement hazard controls help target the most important contributors to the hazard. Good hazard scenarios describe where it is happening, that's the environment, who or what it is happening to, that's the exposure, what precipitates the hazard, that's the trigger, the outcome that would occur should it happen, that's the consequence, and any other contributing factor. So I have a sample of this form that I've been placed in Appendix 6. When you get this manual, please try and get to it. Rarely is a hazard a simple case of one singular cause resulting in one singular effect. Rarely is a hazard a simple case of one singular cause resulting in one singular effect. More frequently, many contributing factors tend to line up in certain way to create the hazard. Here is an example of a hazard scenario. In the metal shop, that's the environment, we are clearing a snag. A worker's hand, a worker's hand comes in contact with a rotating pulley. It pulls his hand into the machine and severs his fingers quickly. Okay, so that was like an example of what happened to my cousin and his fellow worker. To perform a job hazard analysis, you would ask, what can go wrong? The worker's hand could come in contact with a rotating object that catches it and pulls it into the machine. What are the consequences? The worker could receive a severe injury and lose fingers and hands. How could it happen? The accident would happen as a result of the worker trying to clear a snag during operations or as part of maintenance activity while the pulley is rotating. Obviously, this hazard scenario could not occur if the pulley is not rotating. What are the other contributing factors? This hazard occurs very quickly. It does not give the worker much opportunity to recover or prevent it once his hand comes into contact with the pulley. So this is an important factor because it helps you to determine the severity and likelihood of the accident when selecting appropriate hazard controls. Unfortunately, experience has shown that training is not very effective in hazard control when triggering events happen quickly because humans can react only so quickly. How likely is it that the hazard will occur? This determination requires some judgment. If there have been near misses or actual cases, then the likelihood of a reoccurrence will be considered high. If the pulley is exposed and easily accessible, that also is a consideration. In the example, the likelihood that the hazard will occur is high because there is no guard protecting or preventing contact, and the operation is performed while the machine is running. By following the steps in this example, you can organize your hazard analysis activities. The example or the examples that follow show how a job hazard analysis can be used to identify the existing or potential hazard for each basic step involved in grinding iron castings. So you have the examples there. Grinding iron casting, job steps. Step number 1, reach into metal balls to right of machine, grasp casting and carry to wheel. Push casting against wheel to grind off ball. Place finish casting in balls to left of machine. Now, example of job hazard analysis form with respect to this metal shop. So I have the job is how do you call it? The job is grinding iron casting. That's the job. All right. And the steps are listed here, 1, 2, 3. So let's now look at the job hazard analysis. So the job location is the metal shop. The job hazard analysis expert is Joe Safety, and the date is there. Task description: worker reaches into metal balls to right of the machine, grasps a 15-pound casting and carries it to grinding wheel. Worker grinds 20 to 30 castings per hour. That's the job description. Hazard description: picking up a casting. The employee could drop it into his foot. The casting's weight and height could dangerously or seriously injure the worker's foot or toes. What are the hazard controls? Remove casting from the boss and place them on a table next to the grinder. Wear steel-toe shoes with arc protection. Change protective gloves that allow a better grip. Use a device to pick up castings. Now, another task description there. Oh, sorry, another hazard description there is, or hazard identified is, castings have sharp balls and edges that can cause severe lacerations or that can cause severe cuts. What are the controls? Use a device such as a clamp to pick up castings. Wear cut-resistant gloves that allow a good grip and fit tightly to minimize the chance that they will get caught in grinding wheel. Then you have another another hazard identified there, which is reaching, twisting, and lifting 15-pound casting from the floor could result in a muscle strain to the lower back. You remember Dr. David talked about occupational health the other day when he spoke about musculoskeletal disorders, MSDs, all right? So that could also result in this kind of case. It could become a hazard in this kind of case. So what will be the control? Move castings from the ground and place them closer to the work zone to minimize lifting. Ideally, place them at waist height or on an adjustable platform or pallet. Train workers not to twist while lifting and reconfigure workstations to minimize twisting during lifts. Then you can go ahead and repeat these similar forms for each job step. So for any task you identify, for any task hazard you identify, then you put up the hazard controls. For any task hazard you identify, you put up the hazard controls. And that's similarly what we do in job hazard analysis. So job hazard analysis is actually simpler than we can imagine, right? So it's not something so big, okay, that we cannot do, all right? Okay, so as we round up right now, how do I correct or prevent hazards? How do I correct or prevent hazards? After reviewing your list of hazards with the employee, consider what control methods will eliminate or reduce them. For more information on these hazard controls, we will check the appendix 1. The most effective, there are actually so many samples and templates on this manual that you can use in your own personal or work purposes, all right? So this study guide is from OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration from US. So you'll find some customizable templates at the appendix region where you use. The most effective controls are engineering controls that physically change a machine or work environment to prevent employee exposure to the hazard. The more reliable or less likely a hazard control can be circumvented, the better. If this is not feasible, administrative controls may be appropriate. This may involve changing how employees do their job. Discuss your recommendation with all employees who perform the job and consider their responses carefully. If you plan to introduce new or modified job procedures, be sure they understand what they are required to do and the reasons for the changes. Now, what else do I need to know before starting a job hazard analysis? The job procedures discussed in this class or in this booklet include all the steps, hazards, and protections that apply to your industry. Sorry, the job procedures discussed here are for illustration only and do not necessarily include all steps, hazards, and protection that apply to your industry, all right? So when conducting your own job safety analysis, be sure to consult the Occupational Safety and Health Administration standard for your industry. So there are OSH units for in every country, okay? Every country has their OSH because we have Ministry of Work and Labor, something like that. So they have OSH under Ministry of Labor, okay? So you can find out what OSH administration is saying for your own country and for your own industry, all right? Compliance with these standards is mandatory. And by incorporating their requirements in your job safety analysis, you can be sure that your health and safety program meets federal standards. So if you want to get more information about OSHA standards, regulation, and technical information, please kindly visit their website on osha.gov. Okay, kindly visit their website. There are actually so many programs, templates, and standards you'll find on OSHA, but please be sure to note that any standard or template you're following, it adapts to your own country, all right? Is applicable to your own country. So always make sure you find out the correlation between the OSHA USA standards and your own country OSHA standards. Why should I review my job hazard analysis? Periodically reviewing your job hazard analysis ensures that it remains current and continues to help reduce workplace accidents and injuries. Even if the job has not changed, it is possible that during the review process, you would identify hazards that were not identified in the initial analysis. It is particularly important to review your job hazard analysis if an illness or injury occurs on a specific job. Based on the circumstances, you may determine that you need to change the job procedure to prevent similar incidents in the future. If an employee's failure to follow proper job procedures result in a close call, discuss the situation with all employees who perform the job and remind them of proper procedures. Anytime you revise a job health analysis, it's important to train all employees affected by the changes in the new job methods, procedures, or protective measures adopted. And finally, when is it appropriate to hire a professional to conduct a job hazard analysis? When is it appropriate to hire a professional to conduct a job hazard analysis? It's important for me to remind us here that for some of us that are already consulting in safety or wish to go into safety consulting, one of your primary responsibilities is safety analysis, job safety analysis. Okay, and you could do that as part of business planning. Okay, you could do that as part of the risks in business planning. All right. Okay, so if your employees are involved in many different or complex processes, you need professional help conducting your job hazard analysis. Sources of help include your insurance company, the local fire department, and private consultant with safety and health expertise. In addition, people like OSHA from your own country offers assistance through its regional and area offices and consultation services. All right. So if you need more information about OSHA assistance from your own country, please kindly contact the OSHA administration in your own country. Even when you receive outside help, it is important that you and your employees remain involved in the process. Sorry, even when you receive outside help, it's important that you and your employees remain involved in the process of identifying and correcting hazard before, because you are on the work site every day, are most likely to encounter this hazard. New circumstances and a recombination of existing circumstances may cause old hazards to reappear and new hazards to appear. In addition, you and your employees must be ready and able to implement whatever hazard elimination or control measures a professional consultant recommends. And this is where I'm going to call it a day for now. Thank you so much for the time. And I'm sure we've learned something from today's class on safety analysis. Please, if there's any question for me, please feel free to go ahead and ask me right now. Thank you so much. The attendance will be passed very soon, I think, and then we will proceed. Okay, so I have a hand up from read one. Please, can we kindly unmute read one and let's hear from him. Read one. Please kindly unmute and let's hear from you, please.
Yeah. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, read one.
Yes, sir. Sir, when you were mentioned some agencies that that people need to consult during the hazard, if there's hazard analysis. Now, if this certification is this certification not included among the professionals that can handle such hazard issue in a company? So, and the order of this certificate, if you are order of this certificate, can't you be stand as hazard control or safety control in the company?
Okay, if you listen to the concluding remarks I made, I said some of us in this class will end up becoming safety consultants, and your primary role or one of your primary duties will be to conduct job hazard analysis. So by having access to this kind of knowledge, you will definitely get to be opportune to conduct job hazard analysis. If you're not doing it for your company, you can be a standalone consultant. Okay, because by default, you already have the qualification to do so.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All
Okay, Dr. Dave, are you still there with me?
Yes, I'm here, sir. I'm here
Okay,
with you, sir.
it's like there are some questions from the chat room. Can we read them, please?
Okay, all right. From Tolulope Samuel. Okay, he said, please, sir, is it all job you must do? Is this all job you must do job hazard analysis, especially when working on technical or machines? When working as technicians or on a machine, for an example, you want to replace heating element on a packaging machine. Do you get my question, sir?
Yes, I got the question. Thank you so much, Toluloko, for the question. All right, so let's go back and find the conditions, the jobs that require job hazard analysis. Okay, I think that will help. There are criteria that will define whether a job will go through job hazard analysis or not. So this is the criteria. This is the criteria. So please, Toluloko, if you've not gotten this manual, I will recommend that you get it so that you could also use it. There are quite a number of templates down. I will show us the templates later you can use, okay? So if you want to carry out a job hazard analysis on a task or on a job, these are the conditions that will determine whether the job will be subjected to job hazard analysis or not. So the first one is that if the job has highest degree of injury or illness rate, it can result to highest degree of injury or illness rate, then you must conduct a job hazard analysis on it. If the job has potential to cause severe or disabling injuries or illness, even if there is no history of accident before, you need to conduct a job hazard analysis on it. Then you have jobs in which one simple human error can lead to severe accident or injury. Then you have to conduct a job hazard analysis on it. Jobs that are new to your operation or have undergone changes in processes and procedures, then you must do a job hazard analysis on it. Then jobs that are complex enough to require written instruction, then you must perform job hazard analysis on it. So these are the conditions. So when you now compare it with your own operations, then you find out whether it meets any of these conditions. If your answer is yes, then you can go ahead and perform a JHA. All right. Please, Tolulokwe, does this slide make any sense to you? Does it help to answer your question? Please help me confirm in the chat room. Okay, we have a hand up.
Yes, sir. Director Michael. Okay, please, Director Michael, you have been unmuted. Please, you can go ahead and ask a question.
Good morning, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, I just want to get a clearer picture of this following words: job safety analysis, job hazard analysis, and risk assessment. What is the difference between the three, and what is the correlation between the three?
Okay. Just give me 10 seconds. I'll be back. I'll be back right. Yeah. All right, thank you so much. The question was job hazard analysis, risk assessment, and which other one, please?
And Director Mike. Hello, Director Mike.
Job hazard analysis, is it job safety analysis again? And what
let me
now?
unmute. It talked about job risk assessment and management. I think he asked about job hazard analysis, and the third one can't really. Let me. Hello, Director Mike, are you there?
Please, Director, if you can come back. Okay, job safety analysis. He has put it in the chat room.
He's all right.
Okay, so job hazard analysis and job safety analysis, they are the same. The same thing. Why job hazard analysis or job safety analysis is focusing on the tasks, the technical work that is being done in a job. Risk assessment is focusing on the business, general business dimension of general business and business risk analysis of the business or of the organization. So while we are focusing on job analysis on things like packaging, business risk or business analysis is now focusing on general risk as, will the package be accepted at the end of the day? Will the package generate more sales at the end of the day? So risk assessment is focusing more on business inclination, while job hazard analysis is focusing more on the tasks, technical tasks in the business. All right, so risk assessment is broader than job hazard analysis. Please, Director, does that make any sense to you?
All right. As we await feedback from, all right, he has answered.
Okay, somebody also asked from Richard Asante.
Yes, sir. All right.
Yes, just go ahead with the question, please.
Is that what is safety tax analysis?
Okay.
What is safety tax analysis?
All of these things are just the same, just that different companies have different words they can use to describe them. Safety task analysis or task safety analysis is the same thing as job hazard analysis. It's the same thing as job safety analysis. So there is no difference between the two. But why job hazard analysis could have a compilation of tasks per time, safety task analysis is focusing on one task per time, but job safety analysis could have a compilation of multiple tasks in a particular job, but they follow the same process. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Richard. And please, the person that is saying attendance link, my battery is low. Please, if you're ready for this class, you should have charged your battery and make sure that it's full enough for the class. So please don't tell us attendance. Each class, 2 hours, 30 minutes. So if your system cannot carry it, make provisions for it. Okay? Attendance is not the primary requirement here. Okay? If your system is going down, if you were to prepare for the class, you should have charged your system and make adequate provisions for your class. Okay? Thank you. So if your battery is low, thank you so much for coming. Join us in the next class. Thank you. All right. Could there be any other question?
For now, none, sir. No. Yeah.
All right. So if there is no question, I think this is where I'll be saying thank you for the class, and I'll be handing over to Dr. David. We'll be swapping from here. So Dr. Dave, thank you so much for the time to help me keep this workable. So now I'm going to take your position while you take my position. Thank you so much. All right, so we'll be back in a moment. Please do not go anywhere. Remember, this class is streamed live on YouTube. So even if your battery is low, go charge it and you can then view through YouTube. If you're viewing through YouTube, please ensure to send us request for attendance via WhatsApp contact 081 +2340 +23481 470 29035 +23481 470 29035. All right. Thank you so much and keep enjoying a wonderful time. So Dr. Dave, over to you.
All right, sir. Thanks so much, Dr. Benito. That was an insightful and impactful time with you. Well, I told someone that you can't get enough of Dr. Banito's lecture. Thanks so much. And all right, before we have our next lecture, let's take a 2 minutes break while we prepare for effective HSC system. All right, thanks so much.